Welcome to the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast Vlog. I'm Sean. I'm your host. And it's Sunday, so you don't know what that means. I'm recording the wrestling pot vlog. Usually I record this and post on Saturdays, but because Dynamite was on Saturday night because of the NHL on TNT, I decided I'd wait till Sunday and record and post. So that's what I'm doing. So this is Sunday. A lot of big news to get to from an AEW front, because that's what I mostly watch. But I do try to pay attention to WWE. I try to pay attention to the Impact. I was Bound for Glory on Saturday. No, it's next. I don't know, but I know like they had that Christian Cage he's defending the Impact title, and it looks like it's going to be a good match. There was that interview that they did on Impact and I don't know the guy's name, so forgive me. I am sorry, because I don't pay that much attention to Impact. I just pay enough to kind of know what's going on. But it looks like it's going to be a great match, and they did that one-on-one interview, and I thought that was done very, very well. So I don't know if Bound for Glory was Saturday or tonight or what they're doing, but it looks like it's going to be a good pay-per-view for them. Maybe it's next weekend, because I think the Good Brothers are bitching that they don't have their match yet. So I don't know. Sorry. But on the WWE side, I have to admit, and I'll freely tell you, I'm not a fan of the product for the most part. I'm just not. And, when Brock Lesnar came back, and Brock versus Roman Reigns, I thought, man, they've been down this road before. We've seen this match 100 times. How do you freshen this up? And it's tough to say, because I do like rivalries. I could watch, Ric Flair against Dusty Rhodes 100 times. But they always found ways to keep that feud fresh. I could watch, you think back to the Attitude Era, and it was Austin against The Rock. It was Austin against Triple H. It was The Rock against Triple H. It was The Rock against Mick Foley. It was Hunter against, The Undertaker. That they had like 6 or 7 guys that were always competing for the world title, and but they always found ways to keep it fresh. But for some reason, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, like before, it had that feel of, Roman was the underdog. He was the guy who couldn't get over the hump with Brock. And, when he finally did, it was, cause for celebration. But now, the roles are clearly reversed. Roman is the heel. Brock, I'm not going to call him a baby face, but he's the good guy, the fan favorite, if you will. But the inclusion of Paul Heyman is what's made this fresh and made it a very interesting storyline. Whose side is Paul Heyman on? Is he the wise man for the tribal chief, or is he the advocate for Brock Lesnar? And I thought this Friday, when they did the contract signing, and contract signings are, they're so cliched in pro wrestling. It's tough to make a something like that again fresh or even interesting, because one of two things is going to happen. you know, it's usually the table gets flipped over, they fight each other, there's a pull apart, and you know, and we'll see you then go to the pay-per-view, you know, and that's that, usually. But to have, you know, the whole thing where Roman gives Heyman the contract and he looks it over and he's like, everything is there that you wanted, and Lesnar just signs it. And then I read it this morning, you know, with my advocate Paul Heyman. You know, the look on Heyman's face, like the blood left his face, like, and I don't know how you do that voluntarily, like, you know what I mean? Like it was so well done, like the look of just, you know, on and the look that Roman gives him, like everything about this storyline has been really, really well done. It's one of the, I will call it one of the best storylines in pro wrestling right now. Like, you know, it's tipping your hat to the devil. I gotta give the devil his due. Like this has been a really well done program because of Paul Heyman. Like, you know, I don't know how fresh the match is gonna be, how good the match is gonna be. You know, I don't know. I guess with the tables being turned, it'll be interesting. But at the end of the day, it's been Paul Heyman has been the MVP of this build-up. If that makes any sense to you, like, and I love Paul Heyman. You know, I've gone on record, like, you know, I was an ECW fan back in the day. You know, the shoot promo on Vince McMahon is, I think, one of the best things that's ever been done in pro wrestling. You know, there's a lot of things I could go into. Like, I'm a Paul, like, I still think to this day Paul Heyman is one of the best minds for pro wrestling, and he's somebody who, I think he needs a filter, you know, but I think he is somebody that he should be more involved with more creative ideas. And I think, you know, and I like to think that this may have been something that, this feels like a Paul Heyman idea. It really does. And I hope it is, because it's original and it's unique, and I like the aspect of it, and I think they've just done a really good job with it. And, you know, I'm not going to watch Crown Jewel, but I'll certainly be interested to see how that plays out. On to the AEW side, you know, SmackDown on Friday, because of the MLB playoffs, got moved to FS1, and they did a supersized SmackDown where they went a half hour longer, so that they went head to head with AEW Rampage. And I don't blame them. I don't blame WWE one bit. I don't. Like, I get it. Interestingly, I feel like the roles are reversed in a way. Like, WWE has done everything in their power, it feels like, to find ways to stymie AEW. You know, they put NXT on Wednesdays head to head with AEW on purpose. And that purpose was to stymie AEW. Stymie their growth. Like, I always felt like it didn't matter where NXT ranked from a standpoint of viewers. It was all about keeping AEW from growing. And I've always felt that, and I still. And it's what's interesting is, like, they moved to Tuesdays, and I thought, well, okay, NXT will take off, and they really haven't. I think the last like couple of shows have been around 600,000. So, like, they haven't had the growth that AEW had once NXT moved to Tuesdays. It seems like, they've basically been averaging over 1 million viewers since that move. Rampage, on the other hand, has slowly declined. I think part of it is it's Friday nights. It's Friday night at 10. And AEW's crowd, their viewership does skew younger, and by younger I mean they probably do a nice number in like the 18 to 35 demo. I know they talk about the 18 to 49 demo, but the 18 to 35 demo I feel like is where there is really their niche. Because once you get to people my age, like I'm 48. You still, if you're a non-wrestling fan, you still say, oh, you mean WWF, WWE, whatever, Hulk Hogan. It's stuff like that. That's what people who don't watch pro wrestling think of. That's WWE is like, the Kleenex of wrestling. And by that I mean like that's the name brand everybody knows. Okay? But I'm telling you this, and if you're watching this, you probably know that. But it feels like to me, so the NXT project failed. AEW's thriving, and they're thriving partially because of the people you let go now. They're the hottest company in pro wrestling for a reason, and that reason is, not only have like the stars that they had excelled, but you're talking about Bryan Danielson, you're talking about Adam Cole, you're talking about CM Punk, people that you have let go or been unable to sign. And it's this funny thing. So like now here they are. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to fuck with AEW again, and we're going to put all the big stuff that you really want to see in that last half hour. Which, again, I get it. But honestly, it feels like a Bischoff move. I feel like Eric Bischoff is calling the shots, because this was something that Bischoff would do. I've never viewed AEW as a threat to WWE. I've always viewed AEW as the alternative to WWE. And there's nothing wrong with an alternative. Like, I don't think Tony Khan and company want to go head-to-head with the WWE. WWE's a juggernaut. I mean, I know Tony Khan said he won't do, he'd never go on Mondays because he only goes Monday Night Football, which, I get, but you also don't want to go up against Raw. It was smart putting SmackDown on after, or putting Rampage on after SmackDown, because you hope that wrestling audience just changes the channel to what you're presenting. The problem is, like I said, that, I think that 18 to 35 group, but that's probably their sweet spot. By 10 o'clock on Friday night, they're going out. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're doing. When I was between 18 and 35, that's what I was doing. I was at the bar. It was time to drink. So I feel like on a Friday night at 10 o'clock is a rough time spot. And the CM Punk episode aside, because it was CM Punk, like his debut, they've slowly declined in the ratings down to, I think they're around between 500,000 and 600,000 an episode. So you're going to put on SmackDown, you're going to let it run a half hour longer, go head-to-head with AEW for once. And I get it, but I also think like Tony Khan did a great job of counter-programming that. I think the thing, like their use of their YouTube channel, we're going to put a buy-on and they put a great match on with Danielson and Suzuki. That thing was amazing. Like, it was smart. Like, I think they had about 100,000 viewers on YouTube. Live. Watching that live on YouTube. That's pretty impressive. So I'm intrigued to see what the numbers are. And everybody is. Like, everybody's like, and I don't think it's... the be all or end all. I don't think ratings are the be all or end all of like who's winning the war, because I don't think it's a war. WWE thinks it's a war. WWE is a war, but they keep giving the enemy ammunition. You know, so I'm intrigued to see how the ratings went. I thought again even like the CM Punk match, it's Matt Sydal, great match to open up Rampage with. I liked the Inner Circle against America's Top Team. I like how that feud is going. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, it wasn't a great match. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when Dos Santos got in the ring, like, not that he was bad, but his punches certainly looked bad. And I get that. It's a hard thing to go from, throwing a punch to try to knock somebody out to trying to throw a punch to look good. And you could see that was a struggle for him. But outside of that, he performed well enough in the ring. And the match wasn't, like, phenomenal or anything. But it's what happened afterwards I think was big. And I don't know how she would be as a wrestler. But Paige Van Zandt is a natural heel. She's in the ring while Jericho's knocked out, while Hager's knocked out. She's taking the selfies. She has been, every time she is in the ring, she has stuck out to me. Not because she's the only woman in the ring, but because of the way she comes off. Like, she has presented an aura of, like, just, like, a true heel every single time. I mean, the first time when she jocked, that was phenomenal. Like, everything she has done without saying a word has been fantastic. And I don't know how well she would do, because I'm not overly familiar with her, and I don't know if she's, looking to get into professional wrestling, but she has perfect heel tendencies, that's for sure. And I mean, and then so to have the next night on Dynamite, Jericho cut the promo on her, and it's Jericho, so it's tremendous. But she just has a natural heel tendency, and do you do something where you bring in a woman as part of the Inner Circle and let her rumble with Paige Van Zandt? That would certainly be interesting. The Bryan Danielson Bobby Fish match on Dynamite was very good. I mean, you expect that from those two guys. But I think the only other thing that sticks out that really jumped out to me was the Adam Page promo, what I will forever refer to as the cowboy shit promo. This, I've said it on this vlog before. This was the match. This is the match we're waiting for. This is the storyline that we're waiting to see come to an end. Hangman Adam Page winning the AEW World Title, beating Kenny Omega, putting the demons behind him, and that promo set the table for that. And I thought he did it so well. I thought it came from the heart. It was reminiscent of the promo Cody cut on Jericho, leading up the first Full Gear, where if you remember, Cody cut that promo. It's like you talk about being Dusty's son, Silver Spoon. Like, you had the same damn upbringing as I did. Your dad played in the National Hockey League. I mean, he cuts a really, really great promo, and it's really well done. And I thought this was reminiscent of that, because but in this instance, it's Hangman talking about himself and the journey he's been on since day one in AEW. And that's how long the story, like we talk about long-term storytelling sometime, and this has been true long-term storytelling. And this is, we're now getting to, what is, I believe, will be the redemption of Hangman Adam Page. And I can't wait to see that. I mean, I think they're going to have an amazing match at Full Gear. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be, based upon that promo, I was so happy. I thought, oh, that's what we needed. Great way to go, Hangman. I think lastly, just real quick, I'll touch on it. We're definitely seeing a heel turn for Jon Moxley. The way he beat the piss out of Wheeler Yuta on that match. And then I think, like, the way Orange Cassidy was kind of looking at the situation, I think that's going to be your second round match right there. It's going to be Orange against Moxley. And Moxley's, Moxley wins this tournament. I think he's going to be the first guy to challenge Hangman. But I feel like it's a situation where, like, they're setting up storylines for within the tournament. And this is one of the storylines. Hey, you beat the piss out of Wheeler Yuta. And now Orange is coming for revenge. And he doesn't quite get it. I think what would be interesting, though, and it's funny, I think what would be interesting is if that came down to Mox and Eddie Kingston. I don't think it will. I mean, clearly it's going to be Bryan Danielson. And that'll lead probably to a feud between Moxley and Danielson. But I think it would be really, really interesting if it came down to Moxley and Kingston. And it's a situation where Eddie is the babyface now. Like, we just had them last year in a couple of great matches, by the way, for the AEW World Title, and to have that come out of them and these two best friends, and Eddie's like, John, what's wrong with you? What, you've changed. Why have and Moxley's just like, I am a blunt object looking to get back what is mine. So I look forward to this. I'm very intrigued by the tournament. I think that first round match between Dustin Rhodes and Bryan Danielson is going to be very, very good. I do. I really do. I think Moxley, if you get to the second round, it's Moxley and Cassidy. I think that's going to be a really interesting match as well, just because from the storyline standpoint. And I think you're going to have, like, Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. And Danielson knocks his head off, and that's going to be the friction between Moxley and Danielson, So I think there's a lot of good things that they can do. But I think there are a couple of good matches there that I look forward to seeing. So there you have it. There's a wrestling report this week. That's all I got. So remember to check out our podcast. We just recorded the Nerd Corner last night. So new episodes are always up Mondays. So check that out. You can find us on most podcatchers, including Spotify, for those of you who enjoy that service. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd. We're very, very easy to find. And that's it. So on that note, the dreamer has awakened.